Recently, I saw the movie Edition and I took and gleaned some interesting insights. I'm Tina B, and I'm an intuitive communication coach, and I am learning lots and lots. I don't know if you've ever been on Prime or Netflix and then you have this film bubble up and you're like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to watch this. And here's what's funny, the movie Addition came up, and I thought it said addiction. And I added a C to it, which I think is kind of funny. So I was curious about it. And what's interesting is the main character, Grace, in this movie is a mathematician. And she has this PhD in math, and everything is an equation, everything is mathematically precise to keep her safe. In fact, she introduces herself to people exactly in the same fashion with the same order of details. And she brushes her teeth in a methodical, numbered kind of way, goes into extremes with, counting the amount of food on her plate, as well as having to go to the store to make sure she has the exact brand of toothbrushes and buys them out, getting all of them. And so I thought about this character Grace as she represents so much of me in moments, as she was using numbers in this way to tap into, well, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be this way, and that everything all the time counts. And that's something I've been playing with and working with within my journey of coming into myself, is this exploration of getting into what if everything means something, and then how do you distill that and deal with that. And it's stepping back in that way of the stopping of the self-judgment. And so what I love about this movie is that Grace meets a man, and he has full on acceptance of her idiosyncrasies, and it takes her aback, I think, of whoa, he doesn't think I'm too much, too weird, too everything. And all of a sudden, I really realized in this that we all have, to a degree, whatever that math is for us, to help us feel safe, to distract maybe from the scare or the scary. And the worry and all the anxiety that we might feel, because she was using math in this way to soften her internal anxiety. Because at the end of the day, uncertainty really makes human beings nervous. It's that predictability. It's sort of like, I'm a 4-H kid, and when I would do projects and recipes, what I loved is that the recipe said, here's the ingredients, here's the amount, do this, then this, and this, and then this will turn out either a beautiful pie or a cool, set of cookies or soup or what have you. And one of my my former partner, it was interesting. The difference between cooking and baking really came clear to me. Is in baking, you have to follow that recipe or things don't rise. And then with cooking, it gives that imperfection, that beautiful openness of creativity and flavor. And getting to play with that and say, oh, I'm going to taste it along the way, and not have this prescribed expectation that it has to be, end in a certain fashion. And maybe this recipe evolves, and add the salt in the moment and play with that. So I wanted to share this and get on a live today and just explore this idea of what if we can let go of perfectionism. That we don't have to have a mathematical equation of, if I say this, do this, be this, then this will happen. Or what if we can accept ourselves, accept the other, accept the experience as it is, that it doesn't have to be in a scripted, prescribed kind of way. Because at the end of the day, I think that life is so much more wildly interesting when we don't have to have a prescribed equation, recipe for what is going to turn out. And that's the thing, right? Is when I think about the work that I do with my clients, it's ever evolving. It's becoming so rich, so deep, so interesting, because I was a former high school speech and English teacher, then a Creighton University communication studies professor, and then worked for a nonprofit, and then worked for profit. And everything boiled down to being a creative problem solver. And I've had multiple people say, wow, you go deep and you have this vast ocean of experience and knowledge and information. And it's because I love learning and I care deeply about my clients and the people I work with. And so as I'm exploring this and becoming more and more this playful spiritual being that I've always been and embracing the joy, I'm excited to offer, opportunities to dance in that. Why don't we want more? We do want more, I should say, abundance and joy and dancing in that, and even thinking about how do we do that. And that's why I'm facilitating here in downtown Omaha on August 6th. It's a Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. A Play is the Way, Magnetize Your Ideal Life. And, the idea of play, it's engaging with our inner child. And when we do that, we get unleashed, unlocked into what Julia Cameron would say is that this beautiful creativity, the inner God, that the creation that comes out of us, that beautiful form of expression, because we're all creative, whether you're a financial planner, healthcare provider, a pastor, whatever your career field or choice is, you are creative. And sometimes we get locked in on the this idea that we're supposed to work hard, be productive, do. And when I was working with, I had a deep dive session with a potential client. We did this fun beta project last night, and what I learned in that is it really boils down to tapping into our hearts, our breath, and our bodies, because our nervous system is so loud with clarity and so beautifully wise that play gets us back to our being. Because we tend to feel like, well, adulting, I need to do the lifing thing, which is pay the bills, take care of the kids, the do. And so it's hard to be in a framework of fun at work, in our relationships, and in our being and life in general. And so what I want to offer to you is to connect with me. I would love to have a conversation. If you're able to come, I'm going to put in the chat this beautiful, fun, engaging workshop that we're going to have strategies and activities to get you to look at how can I bring and be in that more joyful, playful spirit when I show up in my work and in my relationships and as the self that I am, and discover what that looks like, sounds like, and feels like for you. So I'll put that link in the chat. As well as if you don't live in the Omaha metro area, I want to invite you to connect with me. I would love to have a conversation of how can you get out of that rumination of I have to have perfect. I have to have that equation of having the recipe for how I show up in the world. Because the work that I do is really focusing in on the breath, the body, the voice to be fully expressed. We work in mindset, we work in message, and then the mechanics come into play with how you be. And so I customize individual one-on-ones, whether it's just a one and done session virtually or in person, or a robust 3 or 6 month program. So reach out to me and tap into this core question of what if we let go of perfection and lean into acceptance of all the things, the flaws and the uncertainty, because that's where the magic happens. That's getting into your being. So this is Tina B. Reach out to me and DM me, and check out my website, tinab.com. That's Tina, Tina, B as in boy, E. It's a beingness.com. Until then, remember to be you and be true. Till next time.